Samantha Briggs, it has been forever. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, 100%. I mean, you're somebody that Boz and I watched for many, many years professionally. It's good to catch up with you, now that you're a civilian. So, um, let everybody know where I'm in Washington State, Boz is in Tennessee, and where are you right now?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, Cincinnati, Ohio. So, for anybody who maybe is new to the realm of CrossFit or whatnot, and doesn't know the CrossFit history, which now you're a part of. Champ back in 2013 of the games, and how many times did you compete? Is it 10 or 11 times? Am I crazy?
11.
11 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nine individual and two in the masters, one in the 35 to 39 and one in the 40 to 44.
Man. Um, do you have anything in your mind, Boz, that sticks out when you think of Sam's competing days?
Oh, I mean, there's a couple of pieces that stick out. I remember some of the early days just in Carson. I don't know. I don't have anything specific tied to that, but just the way that you held yourself, particularly leading into some of the final events. You were always a competitor that was, I don't know, you're so fierce, but at the same time, you were just so willing to like go with the flow. I thought that was always so commendable. And then I remember, I think it might have been that crazy year 2019 where it was like way too many people competing and then all the cuts. I think, and I don't want to bring up any bad memories here, but I don't know if it is, but I think you got cut on one of the days and then you're like, well, I'm here anyway. I'm just going to do a triathlon because I'm here. And I just
Yep.
thought, man, if there's ever more of a testament to just the character that you bring to competition, like that's it. You're like, well, didn't go the way I hoped, but I'm going to make the best of it. And why not jump into a completely different sport while I'm here? So that stuck out to me as just like such an awesome thing.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things. It's like you train and prepare for like the full weekend. And my competition got cut short, and we'd been doing some training. There was like a local lake and bike shop, and they had a coffee shop, so we knew that they were running a half Ironman. I've never done a half Ironman before. I've done the triathlon, but only the shorter distances. And so when we got cut short, I kind of like rang them up and I was like, "Hey, do you still have any spots available for tomorrow?" And they were like, "For you, yes, come along."
Oh, that's
So
that's pretty darn cool. Hey, I mean, you're in tip-top shape anyway. You're there. You might as well use it. I remember, what year was it? And I think I'm getting the athletes right. But you passing Fikowski on that run, like in front of the ranch.
Oh yeah,
What
2016.
was, is
Yeah.
that what it was? It still warms my heart to this day. Do you, after so much time competing, when I talk to athletes that operated at your level for as long as you did, it seems like, maybe this is an oversimplification, but there's like two buckets that they fall into. Some people, it's such a part of them that they still keep up with it. They follow things, and other people like, man, I had to close that door. And if you ask me what's going on these days, I'm kind of out of the picture. Where are you now with the competitive landscape? Is it something you follow or not really at all?
yeah. So I was at the games last year, supporting Emma McQuaid. I was like her coach last year, and so far this year, I watched the mayhem. I'm not kind of as in it as I
Mm-hmm.
was, but like little things spark me. Uh, so like I was watching the Mayhem Classic, and like I think Fee is like awesome, and so I really got like tied into it. And I remember on the Sunday, I was doing my cardio session in the garage, and I had to set my like laptop up and everything facing it because I didn't want to miss like the final event. So like little things still like drag me in, and I get uh like hooked on it. Um, so yeah, and like I had a cheeky look at the workouts for the online semi-final, and a little glance at the leaderboard, see who's still in there.
And how do you feel after so many years competing, when you walk into the gym now, do you I guess how has training changed for you over the years with regards to volume, frequency, or any of that stuff? Because you're in your early 40s now, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
42, 40, I don't know. I'm along those lines. Maybe
something like
I've
that.
just had a birthday. Maybe I'm 43.
Something,
Yeah, I'm
somewhere around
43
there.
now.
So what is, you were in that just competitive landscape for so long, just going hard all the time. What is it? Because you're a firefighter now, correct?
Yeah.
And so what does it look like, your work-life balance, getting into the gym? What are you doing these days?
So mentally, like I would love to still just do high volume because that's what I always loved and was probably like known for. Uh, but I've had to definitely cut things back and be a little bit more sensible. Even though some of the guys at work, they think that, oh my God, you've been in the gym for like 2 hours today. How'd you do that? I'm like, 2 hours is nothing.
Right, exactly.
It's all relative.
Yes. So I actually had knee surgery last year, uh, and I timed it that I was starting medic school. So for the last year, I was working 24 hours and then going straight into school and then doing
Mm.
hospital clinicals.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of timed the surgery knowing that I wouldn't have a lot of free time, that that would be the perfect opportunity because I wouldn't have the time to be training. It'll
Mhm.
just be kind of like that rehab recovery and just
Forced you to
kind of,
take it slow a bit.
yeah, just keep things ticking over. And so I finished school the beginning of March. So I'm just finally getting into my new normal. So I still work 24 hours and then we get 48 hours off. So my schedule goes on kind of like a 3-day cycle with training.
Um, Not to diverge us already, but how was paramedic school? Was it grueling? Was it demanding? You just managed your time and it was okay?
Yeah, I mean, like the hardest thing was obviously I was going back to school and it's like I'm in my 40s now. I'm in school with all these like some of them were like 18, 19. The majority
Mm.
were like in their 20s. It's like just
Just a
very
new landscape.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But no, it's definitely a rewarding career, and it's something that I wanted to get back into when I retired from competing. So, uh, yeah, I'm glad the school part's over, and now I just get to do the job.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
cool. So you said 48 hours on, 24 off, or vice
No, I
versa?
do 24 hours on, 48 hours off.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Gotcha.
so, so my
Well,
training kind of goes in a 3-day cycle.
Okay.
yeah, got it. I'd love to hear just a little bit more. It is interesting to hear somebody like yourself and, your coworkers commenting, hey, 2 hours, so you're spending a ton of time in the gym. But to you, relatively, you're like, this is kind of peanuts.
Yeah.
What can you highlight to people that maybe are less familiar at a high point? What did your training look like on maybe a weekly basis versus kind of what does it look like now for that comparison?
Yeah, I mean, uh, when when I was competing as an individual, it is a full-time job. You are pretty much in the gym 9 till 5, and that's not kind of like you're not training that whole time, but you have mobility to do. You'll have a strength piece, and then you'll probably have a break, take on some food, and then you might be doing some gymnastics. Especially when you're running up to competition season, you'll do replication days. So you'll be in the gym all day hitting multiple disciplines, but you'll be having downtime in between. Uh, and then part of all of that is even when you come home, it's not like you have to
Mm.
switch off. You've got to then, right, okay, I've got to recover, I've got to fuel, I've got to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that I'm sleeping good so that the next day I can train again. Now, so on my full day off, which is like today, I went into the CrossFit gym near me. I joined in the class, scaled as needed, and then I've just been to the Globo gym,
Mm-hmm.
and I've used the leg machines because I still have a lot of strength deficit from the surgery. So a lot of my leg strength, I'm using machines to build. I'm now home. I've got chores and stuff to do at home, and then this afternoon I've got some bike intervals to do, which I'll do at home in the garage. Tomorrow I'm on shift and I have some upper body strength stuff to do, and then I'll probably do some kind of simplified metcon just because they don't have all of the equipment at work, but I'll do something just to kind of get my heart rate up, get a little sweat on. And then coming off working nights, that's kind of like my recovery day. And that'll be easy mobility, rehab, and some kind of steady state cardio just to get blood flow. And that's kind of like rinse and repeat how my 3 days go.
So
Yeah, cool.
I'm curious about that. So, when we were chatting back and forth via email, kind of setting this all up, you said something along the lines of, like, you still love CrossFit, but with regards to like Metcons, you might only hit something like a Metcon, once or twice a week. The training now is a bit more bodybuilding style, like you said, trying to get some strength back in your leg post-surgery. I'm curious, is that, machine stuff, bodybuilding style, couple Metcons sprinkled in? Do you feel, is that something you're just doing right now, recovering from the leg surgery, or is this what training looks like now for you in your where you're at this phase in your life? Or like, once the leg is healed up, I guess, what do you see your schedule looking like? What works for you?
Yeah, I can see that I'll keep doing the class once or twice a week because it's just fun to work out with other people. And regarding like the bodybuilding style stuff, for now, it's kind of like what I have to do if I'm just using a barbell, because the left leg's a lot stronger than the right. I feel like I'm squatting normally, or I feel like I'm doing something normally. Then you watch a video back and like, oh, I did that all with my left leg. So for now, it's kind of like if I'm in a machine and I'm like rigid, it's like both legs are having to work. So for now, that's kind of like what I have to do. But I miss back squatting. I miss doing like stuff like that. So hopefully, as like the strength gets better in the right leg and the right leg can take more, then hopefully I'll be able to introduce some more kind of like traditional squatting. I've been doing power cleans and stuff, but I've not been squat cleaning. Hopefully I can reintroduce kind of like more movements as the strength improves on that side. So
I feel you. I had a hip replacement on my right hand side over a year ago now, and when I do single leg stuff, whether it's weighted lunges or whatever it happens to be, like, I have a load that I use with one leg and I have a load that feels challenging with the other leg. I'm like, oh man, but you're right. But every now and then I'll be coming up from a squat and I might feel good, and every now and then I notice that I'm really using one leg more than the other. So that kind of rings true. I was stalking you a bit on your Instagram today, and you mentioned squatting, and you had some post, I think within the last couple of months, that said somebody wanted to know if you still squatted, and you said yes, but it looked different. And you mentioned, I think, like a zombie squat, an Anderson squat, and maybe another type. So what did you mean? Like, what does squatting look like these days? Because those, I guess, are some barbell things that maybe you found actually work for you.
Yeah, so the weight I can lift with those are limited because obviously you're in the zombie squat or starting from a dead stop at the bottom for the Anderson squat. So the weight is kind of limited by the complexity of the movement, so that my right leg can still be evenly contributing as the left leg.
Okay.
So tried to make the movements more complex. So I'm still getting the stimulus of like, this is literally the heaviest I can lift, but I'm not limited by this is all the right leg can lift.
Okay.
I love that. I think that's such a cool strategy, and one that I wish CrossFitters were a little bit more open to generally, which is, I think people can get locked into, well, you back squat, you front squat, you overhead squat, and that's it, because those are the things I think I'm going to be asked to do when I'm competing, or because that's what comes up in my affiliate programming or whatever. But man, there's so many cool variations like that. And I think it's such a valuable tool, not only if you're injured, but just to keep you interested in year over year training. And, people that are going to be doing this for life, it's like, yeah, you can get burned out on certain variations. So that's really cool to explore things like that. Yeah. How did you come across those variations? Like, were you familiar with them ahead of time and
Yeah, I
they
was.
just kind of resurfaced?
So it's something that my coach used to throw in now and again, more kind of off-season training as opposed to like in season. But he
Yep.
would do a lot just because being in the zombie squat or the Zercher squat and handstand squat, they can just help you increase your main 3 squats, even if it's just
Yep.
that little bit, like improving. Like the zombie squat, you've got to keep the chest upright. So then when you actually can use the front rack, it feels easier. So they're definitely tools that we used kind of in the off season to try and bring up the main 3 lifts. So rather than them being accessories, they've kind of been my switched and then been my lifts.
I was going to say, historically speaking, everyone generally associates you with your engine, right? I'm sure your squat was something that you're always like, man, I got to keep squatting. Look what these other women are putting up for numbers. I got to get back in and squat, 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 squat. So I'm sure you did your fair share of squat variations over the years.
Yeah, that's the thing. People used to always say, because obviously my lift numbers weren't like at the top competitive numbers. And they'd be like, why don't you lift more? I used to spend more time lifting because there's other athletes that they don't squat for a month and they can still squat heavy. Like if I don't squat for a week, my legs are like, what's this movement?
Right.
But then on the other hand, like I wouldn't do any running off season. I would only introduce running back maybe a month before the season started, because that's kind of like what I was good at, what I'd done for years before. So
Yeah, that
just
base.
just reintroducing running just so the feet and the calves were used to the impact before the games. That's all we would do. I wouldn't be doing a lot of running and stuff in off season.
You've had your fair share of injuries over the years just due to the nature of how demanding competing and the training and all that stuff was. How are you feeling? How does your body feel head to toe these days? Because sometimes you can just get used to a certain level of discomfort or pain. You're like, oh, this is just what my body feels like. But that's not necessarily how it should be. But after you've put your body through more than most. So how is it feeling these days? And what do you do anything particular to keep yourself moving well and feeling good?
Yeah, like everything other than the knee, which is just a really slow process. And basically, I've got no cartilage left on the outside of my right knee. So it's never going to be good until I have a knee replacement. So it's just kind of managing that. But for the most, the body feels good. I try and make sure that I do a good amount of mobility. And I think the main thing is sleep. It's like, even though when I'm working 24 hours, that's like we get nights where we don't get a lot of sleep.
I believe it.
But I try and make sure that then the next day it's just easy blood flow. And my 2 days off, it's like I go to bed probably like anywhere between 8 and 9 p.m. And I make sure that I get like 10, sometimes to 11 hours sleep.
Oh yeah.
But you need it. It's like when other people are watching their Netflix show, I'm like I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I would love to pick your brain about, okay, you were really working out hard to try to be competitive. That was a focus for a long time. Now you've shifted gears into, kind of a change or full circle career back to working in, a service job. We get questions all the time about people that are in similar situations and how do I navigate my training? I know that I'm going to have this on shift time. I also know that that time is unpredictable. So, they recognize the importance of trying to stay fit, but at the same time, it's like, well, I don't want to be so tired that if the call comes in, I can't be functional. How do you balance that? What's your approach to that?
I think with that, it's just choosing like the intensity, because you can still do the same workout, but how you attack the workout, it can feel completely different. So when I've had a good night's sleep, or if I've had a day off work, so that I've had a good period of full nights in bed, I take advantage of my training. So I've actually got next week off work. Emma McQuaid is going to be over. So I have a feeling we're going to be doing some pretty intense workouts. So I'll just make the most of it. I won't be working for a full week, so I can have a week of sleep, and it's amazing what that can do for you, especially if you've been sleep deprived. But then when I have busy nights and I haven't had the ideal sleep, then I can still do the same workouts. I can still join in the class, but I might just choose to lower the intensity that I'm attacking it with. If it's got, say, rowing in it, instead of holding 12,000 cal per hour pace, I'm going to hold like just 1,000, like just bring it down a little bit so that I'm still moving, I'm still getting a workout in and still being part of that community, but I'm not killing myself.
Do you find it difficult if you're in a class like that? And, one of the reasons you're one of my favorite athletes is that you are amazing what you do, but you're also like profoundly humble. Like you took the sport and everything seriously, but it didn't seem like you took yourself too seriously. But you're still, whether you want to admit it or not, you Sam Briggs. Like, when you're in the class setting and you're trying to modulate your intensity and hold it back, with the person on the other does, you're like, I'm gonna smoke Sam today, and like, can I get after you? Like, do you feel any, when you walk back in, like, I got to be in the lead because I'm the 2013 champ? Or are you okay and comfortable and be like, this is the right pace for me today? Go ahead, do what you got to do. I'm going to do my plan.
Normally I set up right at the back of the class, and they laugh at me because I'm just kind of like in my own like little square at the back. And 9 out of 10 times I like change movements, and the coaches laugh at me and they're like, that isn't even the workout we're doing. I'm like, yeah, but I'm here.
Yep, I'm part of the group.
I'm here and I'm working out with everybody. The class workout today, I did 2 movements that were the same as everybody else, and then 4 movements that were like completely what I changed.
That's great. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. What does physical fitness look like at your, I know it's different every firefighter that we talk to, but in your community, in your group, in your firehouse, what does physical fitness and training look like there? Where is it prioritized? Is everybody doing something different? What's your 2 cents?
Yeah, the department that I work for just got a grant last year, and they're in the process of redoing all the fire stations gyms. So we have 5 stations, and I think 3 of the 5 so far have just had complete upgrades, and they've definitely gone down more of the line of the functional fitness type gym. We have rigs, they have wall balls, we've got sleds, we've got dumbbells, we've actually got decent enough barbells and bumper plates that you can clean and snatch.
Nice.
It's not the old rickety like non-spinning bars and the heavy metal plates that you can't drop. Like we actually have like proper rubber bumpers that can be dropped, rubber matting in the gym. So they've gone down the line of more of a functional type gym. We've got the Concept 2 bike and rower. So they're pretty nice. They're the new gyms that they're fitting out. So.
Oh. And is the culture among your house, like, do most of the firefighters there, are they actively pursuing that? Like what's their kind of buy-in, despite the fact that they've got this nice facility? Because I've heard that go both ways, right? Like sometimes places have a beautiful opportunity to train, but the culture just isn't there, and vice versa. Sometimes people just cobble it together with nothing, but the culture to train is like really high.
Yeah, it's very mixed. Some of the stations and some of the shifts have like, I'll work, being relatively new there, I get moved around wherever there's a opening that day. It's like I get moved, so I get to work at all the stations. And some of the stations you'll go and like everybody's in the gym and everybody's doing a workout, and other stations I might go and I might be the only person in the gym. So it is very hit and miss. I do think a lot of the newer people in the department are coming in more physically able and wanting to maintain that fitness, not just kind of the old school, the they're fit enough to pass the test, and then they're like, oh well, I'm in now, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people now, they're more like, oh, I want to stay fit for the job, I want to be capable.
Sure. What does nutrition look like at the firehouse? Do you have some control? Do you have to like bring your own food in Tupperware containers? Like, what's going on?
So when I first got hired on, I was what they call a backstep. And so you're right in the back of the fire engine, and one of your duties is you're doing the cooking.
Mm.
So then I had complete
Nice.
control. And so I would make healthier food, but then kind of like make it that they can put it in a wrap, or they can have a bread bun. If I'm making, I'll do burgers, and I'll make homemade sweet potato fries. So they're still getting what they think is like, oh, we're having burger and fries, but there'll be like a
You're tricking them.
healthier twist to it.
Yeah.
And like, and most of the guys like want to eat healthier. They're okay with that. Now that I'm riding the ambulance more, it's not my job to cook. So sometimes I just have to like be okay with what I'm eating and be like, okay, this is fine for one day. Tomorrow I'm at home. I'll be making my own food, and it's all good. But for the most of the guys, especially if they've worked with me a lot, they know what I like. One of the things as well is I prefer to get like the organic beef or the organic chicken. Some people don't like to spend a lot on their food, but the other day I was working, and one of the guys came in, and he was so happy. He's like, "Look, Sam, look, I got us the happy cows. We're eating happy cows." Because he knows that I would prefer to eat organic meat. And he was so happy that like he'd gone to the supermarket and he'd got me organic beef. He's like, we're going to eat happy cows.
Oh, that's awesome. When I speak to some buddies every now and then who are firefighters, I've got a buddy just a couple doors down in my neighborhood that is. I think, I'm curious as to what your reality on the ground is, because sometimes us regular civilians can think, okay, every call that a firefighter gets is there's a 20-story building on fire, like the movie Backdraft, and that's what every single call is. And my buddy's like, a lot of them are just the country's full of sick people that have medical conditions and whatnot. So you're so into health and fitness and longevity and how you eat and how you move. And then a huge part of your job is going out into society and seeing people on their worst day. So what has this job in your city opened up your field of view as to, currently what's going on in society with regards to health, fitness, or lack thereof?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is just lack of knowledge. I'll be going out, and there's people that are younger than me, and they're not physically capable of doing anything. They're sick because of the lifestyle choices that they've made, their lack of movement, and their nutrition choices have made them like they are ill. They're dying before their 40s, and it's kind of it's sad because they don't know anything else. They don't know they've done anything wrong. They've just done what they thought was living, but they've been slowly dying instead of living. I don't know.
And now you see that happen to people in their 40s.
Yeah, I mean, like we go and we pick people up, and I see people, and I'm not being awful. I look at them and I think, oh, they're going to be like 60, 70. I'm taking their details, and they give me their date of birth. I'm like, damn, they're younger than me.
Yeah.
I believe that. Yep. I believe that 100%. And you're right. I think it is just a huge lack of knowledge as to what actually can set you on a healthy path. And it's, and there's probably just a few big changes they could make that would really move the needle, whether it's just drinking a ton of soda or eating a ton of fast food or being sedentary. Like, they may not have to change 100 different things. Like if you just changed 3 big ones, you could probably move the needle for a lot of people.
I think people always say, oh, you can't just say move more, eat less. But if all you do is live a sedentary life, you sit at home, you go to a job and you sit at a desk, and then you sit in your car. It's like, if you just change that a little bit, so you did move more, maybe park a little bit further, so you have to walk a little bit more. It's not even like going to a gym and like having to exercise, or not even like, oh, I've got to hit 10,000 steps. Just adding a little more movement to your day. And the whole like eat less, it doesn't have to be that. Just be a little bit more smarter with your nutrition choices.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I think that's so hard for people because they see or measure success as like this absolute outcome, where it's only a success if I get to this end state and I lose that 100 pounds, or I totally reverse my health bill. It's like, man, it doesn't have to be that way. Like,
Yeah.
2 steps in the right direction is better than none, even if it's not the 100 you were hoping for. But that's a really hard message for people to take on. But yeah, I agree. It's like, man, if only people could understand the simplicity that's required, you'd like to think that it could make a pretty profound change.
Yeah, a small change done consistently could equate to a huge improvement in the life.
Consistency, man, consistency goes so far. I've only got a couple more things for you, Stan. I'll let you get back to your day. I'm curious. You've had such a fantastic career, not only in the games competing, and now you've got, another career going out as a firefighter. So let's say two different people walked up to you based upon all the experience and lessons learned that you've had. One person is just that person, hey, I just want to get in better shape. Somebody at the firehouse comes up, I want to get in better shape, not looking to be a competitor, recreational athlete. What would be your advice for the recreational level? And then what would be your advice for that person who's like, I want to win it all. I want to be a serious competitor. I'm all in. So what's recreation and what's we're going all in?
Okay, the recreation, I think find something that you enjoy and have fun, and variety is the spice of life. Like find some hobbies, join a gym, just enjoy it.
Enjoy, it's great advice, by the way.
Yeah. For somebody who's
Can I stop right there and say that I really want to emphasize that for people, because I feel like that's something people don't hear. What they hear is, oh, it's going to be a ton of work. Oh, it's going to be this like lifelong, maybe not drudgery, but like it's going to be a process. And maybe that's all true. But man, that's refreshing to hear. Like, no, it's okay to pick something that you actually like to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's going to keep you in the game longer. So why wouldn't you prioritize that? Like
If you love
really
mountain biking, go mountain biking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what? Doesn't have to be death by burpees every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have friends that play five-a-side soccer on a weekend, join in with them. Like, just like try a few things, find something you enjoy. I genuinely love training, and that's why I probably did it for so long, and why, if my knee was healthy, I'd probably still be doing it right now, because I genuinely enjoy training and pushing myself. But then for the person who wants to win it all, then the variety is key. It changes. It's like you need consistency. You need to be doing the same boring stuff over and over again until you get good at it. And then when you think you're good at it, you can always improve.
100%. I want Boz. You got anything? I got one more question for.
No, I mean, I was really just kind of curious about the firehouse experience, and we dug into that quite a bit. And trying to answer some of the questions for people that are in that similar situation, like how do you navigate that shift work and knowing that you're going to get called out on some days of training, things like that. So no, I feel pretty good about chatting through that.
Some days I could have I'll look at my training and I'm like, oh, I can get that done in 45, 50 minutes. That's an easy day. And then it can take me 5 hours because I might get one thing done. I'm called out. I come back, I do another thing, called out, come back. And I'm like, damn, this day is going on.
It just becomes interval training.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we dig into that just a little bit. So at what point do you say, okay, try again tomorrow? Like, that's it. I know what the list says I'm supposed to be doing today, but there's been so many interruptions. Like, that's it.
Yeah. I try to look at my training and kind of segment it into 3 parts. I was like, okay, this is that I want to really get done. this would be nice to get done, and then this is a bonus.
Mm,
So as long
okay.
as I try
Yep.
and get the stuff that's kind of like that important, like part of the training done, then I'm happy. But then like something could come in. We had a day and there was a huge fire, and you're working your ass off, and then you're like, okay, that is my training for the day. I'm like,
Right.
I just need to go back
Yep.
to the station, do some stretching, and kind of like recover from it. So you also have to kind of like be able to read your own body and be like sensible. Like, damn, we worked our asses off there. Like,
Mhm.
if I was to do more training, it'd be detrimental because we don't know if another fire is going to come in.
Sure. Yep.
Very well said. Well,
I love that mental release though. And I think that's honestly applicable for anybody is, anybody who's busy and has like real life things and can't just dedicate their entire existence to training is going to have situations like that where it's like, man, I wanted to, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
And so giving that kind of mental release of like, okay, this is critical and the rest of this is nice to have, like, man, I think more people should permission themselves to do that. That's a cool approach.
life has no regard for your plans.
Right.
You know?
And not most of the time.
No regard whatsoever. I'm curious, Sam, just in closing, what does the future hold for you? Any plans when you look ahead? What do you see?
I don't know. Like I still have like a competitive mind. Like that, I think that will always be in me. So I don't know if I'll ever come back and do masters again. Right now, it's not a possibility just because I can't do the volume of training on my knee that I would need to do to be competitive. But I don't know. I will be at the Masters Games this year, cheering on Kelly Friel from the UK.
Oh, awesome.
So if anybody's going to watch, I will be there, but in the cheering capacity, not in the competing capacity.
Very, very cool. Well, I have enjoyed watching you for many years. Again, you're one of my favorite athletes, ferociously competing, but like humble at the same time, and not a lot of people pull that off. So it's fun to catch up with you and just see what you got going on. It's great to hear where you are at this phase in life, and I wish you the best.
No, thank you both for having me on. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Sam.
All right, I guess in closing, let me just say to everybody, thanks for watching or listening. Find this episode on the btwb YouTube channel. Post your thoughts. What phase in life are you in? How does training shifted for you? Do you have ideas for future shows or guests? Post them there. We read all those comments, and we appreciate it. So for Samantha Briggs and Adrian Bosman, I'm Pat Sherwood, and we will see you next time.